And this update was sponsored by My Patriot Supply. Guys, they have brought back their 25% discount on their 3-month emergency food supply. And to get the deal, you got to go to preparewithNYPrepper.com. The link is in the description below this video. But this 3-month emergency food supply is freeze dried, so it has a 25-year shelf life. And it's all contained within 6 rugged water resistant buckets. And free shipping is included. So again, use the link preparewithNYPrepper.com to get 25% off of the My Patriot Supply 3-month emergency food supply. It's really a no-brainer. 25-year shelf life. You don't have to worry about your food preps going bad. You don't have to worry about rotating anything. And it's all contained within 6 buckets. So you can find the space to store 6 buckets, guys. And they also have a general store. If you click on the My Patriot Supply logo at the top of the page, when you get to preparewithNYPrepper.com, you can access their general store, and they have all kinds of prepping and survival items for sale. They have MREs, they have survival seeds, they have potassium iodide, they have survival bars. So check it out. PreparewithNYPrepper.com to get 25% off of the My Patriot Supply 3-month emergency food supply, and the link is in the description below this video. What's going on, guys? Let me know if you can hear me. How's everybody doing? Five by five. How's it going, everyone? Thanks to all the mods for showing up. Lorna, Katz 1964, Ross Snyderman, Amy Marchkowski, Mary Beth Hammond, Chris Green, Lisa Calabretta from Buffalo, New York, Mud and Munitions, what's going on? Sierra Star, good to see you. Country Christian, good to see you in here tonight. Gap Creeker Prepper, what's going on? So we have some major breaking news coming in. So much breaking news. So it's going to be a big update tonight. I was actually going to do a video, but there was just so much breaking news that I decided to just go live. Barbara France says, great intro, Greg. Thank you. I'm glad you liked the intro. So we have some major breaking news coming out of the Baltic countries. The Baltic countries are going to be building a fortification line, and Estonia is going to be building 600 bunkers, okay? 600 bunkers along their border with Russia. Now, they've already put anti-tank obstacles along their border with Russia. Finland has closed their entire border with Russia, and a lot of the Baltic countries are ejecting Russian citizens now. So we could be on the brink of war. We also had a top NATO commander, Rob Bauer, basically say that we're on the verge of war with Russia and that we need to prepare for a war with Russia. E. Morgan 753, thank you for the donation. Sierra Star, thank you for the donation. Light Source Engraving, good to see you. And thank you for gifting the 10 memberships. I got to catch up on your last messages. It's been a busy week for me. And congratulations, Lorna, for being a member for 8 months. That's incredible. So without further delay, I'm just going to get right into the news. And then after I cover the news, I'm going to open the chat for a discussion. You know, we could talk about whatever, anything you guys want to discuss. We'll talk about it. But for now, you know, the beginning of the stream is just going to be me going through all the headlines. There's a lot of them. So please just be patient. So I want to just start with some video footage that has come out of Iran that is pretty concerning. Uh, Hopefully, you guys can see this video I'm about to play. Um, and let me know if you see it or not. But basically, showing Iran moving ballistic missiles and torpedoes inside of their country. And I don't know the exact location of this video, like where it was taken, but it was taken today, from what I understand. And you can see this massive convoy of military equipment, and it looks like ballistic missiles on all these trucks. Looks like just dozens and dozens and dozens of these missiles on these trucks. I mean, this is insane. I know that Iran was supposed to do a training exercise close to the Pakistani border. So I don't know if this is related to that. I have no idea, guys. But this is certainly very unusual. Let's just look at this missile here. Okay, check that out, guys. I don't know what kind of missile that is. I'm not an Iran missile expert. I know they have the Fatah missile, but it looks like some kind of short or medium range ballistic missile, similar to a Scud or an Iskander, maybe just has a little longer range. Okay, but just dozens and dozens of these missiles. Okay, look at that. Absolutely insane. This is coming just a day after Pakistan, or actually 2 days after Pakistan launched an operation. And I have to use that word operation. Okay, launched an operation at Iran using projectiles such as these. Okay. And now Iran is moving all these missiles. Another thing, too, is Iran was moving torpedoes towards their port city in the Persian Gulf. I forget the name of the city. It starts with an S, but it's very close to Iraq. It's like right at the far western end of the Persian Gulf, right next to Iraq and Kuwait. There's a little city there called like SH Shadaga or something. I don't know. But they moved the torpedo. There was a video of at least one torpedo or several moving towards that city. So I don't know if they're going to try to attack some of our warships now, part of the Operation Prosperity Guardian that we have in the Red Sea, or if they're going to try to go after the Pakistani Navy or the Indian Navy. I have no idea. Um, but this video is just absolutely insane. So things are really spiraling out of control around the world, guys. Okay. The Washington Post, citing Western officials, reported that Israel is planning an operation against Hezbollah at the end of January. Okay. So we're basically in the end of January now. We're in the second half of January. Apparently, various Western officials and diplomats are saying that the end of January is when Israel is going to launch an operation at Hezbollah. Uh, I'm going to be back in 1 minute, guys. Just have a technical issue here. I'll be back in just 1 minute. Stand by. Sorry about that. My computer was actually dying. I had to plug it in. Um, Betsy R., thank you for the donation. John Montgomery, thank you for the donation. I hope you're having a great night. Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys for all the donations. Looks like we have dozens and dozens of missiles here on the move. Okay, let's see if we can count them. Um, I didn't get a chance to count these yet, but let's see if we can maybe count together. So here's one, two, three. Looks like there's actually two on this truck. Look at that. Looks like there's two there. So it's actually four. Looks like there's actually two missiles on each of these trucks, not just one. Maybe some of them have one, some of them have two. Like this one has one, that one has one, that one has two. Uh, there's another one, but I mean, this is just insane. There's another one there that's like six or seven, eight. Uh, let's see, nine, 10, and then we have this line of trucks here. Look at that. That is just insane, guys. So, Iran is definitely on high alert right now. There's another missile right there. Okay. It's got to be probably at least 30 missiles just in this video, maybe 50. I'm going to say 30 to 50 missiles just in this video. There's another one. There's another one. There's another one. Um, things are really getting crazy. And then here's the video of the torpedo being moved to the Iraqi port city. You can clearly see this thing is a torpedo based on its propeller here. Okay, you can see it's a little hard to see because it's black, but you can see that propeller there. Okay, so they were moving some kind of a torpedo towards their port city there, or I don't know if it's a port city, but it's very close to the Persian Gulf. Okay, so very very concerning. I want to just talk to you guys a little bit about this. Want to talk to you guys about this situation in the Baltics now. Um, Want to read to you some stuff about that. So this is coming from Euro News. Okay, you can see it right on your screen if you think I'm making this up. Okay, there it is right there. If you think this is BS or fear mongering. Baltic states to build new defenses to bolster NATO's eastern border. The Baltic states have signed an agreement to create a common defense line to reinforce NATO's eastern border with Russia and Belarus. Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia were once all part of the Soviet Union, but are now part of the EU and NATO and are allies of Ukraine. The country's defense ministers signed the document in Latvia's capital, Riga. The three believe constructing anti-mobility defensive installations will significantly strengthen their borders as well as deter and block any potential military aggression. So they say anti-mobility defensive installations. So those are basically obstacles, barriers, stuff that's going to stop tanks from rolling in. Okay. So the three countries together signing that. In light of Russia's ongoing aggression against Ukraine, it is very important to continue our cooperation. The Baltic states' solidarity must be stronger than ever, said Arvydas Anušauskas, Minister of Defense of Lithuania. Analysts at the U.S. Institute of War Studies have pointed out that Russian President Vladimir Putin has recently heightened Kremlin initiatives that might provoke future escalations against the Baltic states. Russia's war in Ukraine has shown that in addition to equipment, ammunition, and manpower, physical defensive installations on the border are also needed to defend Estonia from the first meter, Estonia's Defense Minister Hanno Pevkur said. He noted that the purpose of defensive installations is to prevent a military conflict in the region. We are undertaking this effort so that the people of Estonia can feel safe, but if the slightest risk emerged, we would be ready for various developments more promptly. As part of the Baltic defense line, Estonia will build hundreds of bunkers on its border with Russia. So that's what it's going to be called, the Baltic defense line. Okay, Estonia will build hundreds of bunkers, and I'm hearing 600 bunkers, guys. 600 bunkers. Acknowledging that no defense line is impenetrable, Chief of the Operations Department of the General Staff, Tomo Kundla, said the Ukrainian experience has shown the necessity of building shelters from concrete and installing them early rather than creating them from earth and logs in a war situation. The concept of defensive installation is based on the decisions made at the NATO summit in Madrid, which emphasized that allies must be ready to defend the territory and new regional defense plans must be developed. The building process will be carried out in cooperation with local communities and with the agreements of landowners, okay, because they're going to have to build this defensive line through people's properties, okay, through farmers' lands and through people's backyards. The price of the Estonian defense facility is initially estimated at 60 million euros. 60 million euros, guys. Okay, and that's just Estonia. That's not including Lithuania and Latvia. So this is pretty serious, guys. This is, like going back in time to World War II when the French built the Maginot Line. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of what the Maginot Line is, but I'll give you guys a quick history lesson here. So what you're looking at is a picture showing France and Western Europe, France and Germany, Belgium during World War II, and it shows the location of this massive defensive line that the French created in World War II called the Maginot Line. The problem with the Maginot Line was that it wasn't fully completed, and they were supposed to go all the way up to Belgium, and they never did. And so what Hitler did was he just went around that defense line and he went through Belgium rather than going straight through the Maginot Line, which was just an insane fortification. I mean, it was just insane. Here's some pictures of the Maginot Line. They literally had like these tunnels that were built underground. They had artillery systems. They had like multiple layers of anti-tank obstacles, just absolutely crazy. The French spent an insane amount of money building the Maginot Line, and in the end, it didn't help them. Now, I'm not saying that it's not going to help the Baltics. I think it will definitely help the Baltics, but they have to learn the lessons from history and make sure that they complete the entire line, and not leave a gap, which is what the French did. And here's an example of where, Hitler invaded France. He went straight through Belgium because that's where the Maginot Line basically ended. So just crazy situation, guys. Okay, crazy situation. Let's see. Want to just read to you about this NATO general, Rob Bauer. He's the chairman of NATO's Security Council. He's basically like NATO's top general, essentially. And he's warning that there could be a war with Russia any time now. And he's telling people they need to prepare. Jason Casper, thank you for gifting 10 memberships. Thank you so much. I hope you're having a great Friday night. And DY777, thank you for gifting 50 memberships. That's incredible. Thank you so much. I hope you're having a great Friday. Thank you very much for the generous donation there. So let me just read something to you here. This is coming from various sources. The tectonic plates of power are shifting, and as a result, we face the most dangerous world in decades, said the head of NATO's military committee. A top NATO military official offered an ominous warning on Thursday, telling reporters that civilians must be prepared for the possibility of war with Russia within the next 2 decades. Wow, guys, I'll say that again. A top NATO military official offered an ominous warning on Thursday, telling reporters that civilians must be prepared for the possibility of war with Russia within the next 2 decades. We have to realize it's not a given that we are in peace, and that's why we are preparing for a conflict with Russia, said Admiral Rob Bauer, a Dutch naval officer who chairs the alliance's military committee. Bauer's remarks followed a meeting of NATO defense chiefs in Brussels, where the admiral told his peers that member countries should expect the unexpected by increasing defense exercises and placing troops on alert to make for a war-fighting transformation of NATO. We need public and private actors to change their mindset from an era in which everything was plannable, foreseeable, controllable, focused on efficiency, to an era in which anything can happen at any time, Bauer added, an era in which we need to expect the unexpected. Bauer's calls come as some 90,000 troops stand ready for NATO's largest war games exercise since the Cold War. Slated to begin next week, the Steadfast Defender 2024 exercise has drastically expanded in size since it was unveiled last year. The training is designed to prepare NATO for how a Russian invasion might look. NATO countries have also boosted defense spending and vowed to issue new contracts to weapons manufacturers since the start of Russia's war in Ukraine nearly 2 years ago. But Bauer and other senior NATO officials have grown worried that the preparations are lagging, especially as the ongoing war has drawn resources from stockpiles. The tectonic plates of power are shifting, and as a result, we face the most dangerous world in decades, Bauer said. In contrast, Russia has made military spending 40% of its national budget and has sped up weapon production. We need to be readier across the whole spectrum, Bauer said on Thursday. You have to have a system in place to find more people if it comes to war. Whether it does or not, then you talk mobilization, reservists, or conscription. Earlier this month, Sweden's civil defense minister warned that 200 years of peace the nation has enjoyed could be coming to an end, and that Swedes must prepare for war, including an all-out defense of their nation. Okay, I don't know if you guys remember that. I reported on that a while ago. We can recap that in a second here. But that is crazy, guys. Okay, Sweden's civil defense minister telling Swedes that they have to prepare for an all-out defense of their nation. So things are just really spiraling out of control, guys. Let's just read a little bit more about this exercise. Now, some of you guys may or may not be aware that there was a classified document that was leaked or obtained somehow, a German classified document, German military document. And the documents basically said that Russia was going to attack NATO in the end of 2024 during the transition period between presidents. And I think that's very probable. I really do. I think it's very probable, guys. Especially if it looks like Trump is going to win. I think that Russia may feel like it might be their last opportunity because they know Trump is going to be extremely tough on Putin. and they may feel like, okay, this is our last shot. While Biden is still in control of the nukes, we know he's weak. Let's just take a gamble and go right after NATO, and let's go into the Baltics. I think it could happen, guys. I really do. I think it's very likely. But NATO's preparing for it. Okay, Russia is about to launch a massive offensive against Ukraine, which is supposed to start next month. That's being reported by the Institute for the Study of War. They're basically waiting for the ground to freeze better, and then they're going to go in and launch a massive offensive in Ukraine because they know that Ukraine has run out of equipment, and the West is struggling to approve new aid packages for Ukraine. So now's an opportunity for Russia. And interestingly, NATO is now doing this massive exercise with 90,000 troops, guys. 90,000 troops. That is just insane. Can you remember the last time NATO did anything like that? 90,000 troops. Okay. That is just unprecedented. Absolutely insane, guys. Okay. Absolutely insane. Okay. That is like the entire military of some European countries. And the UK is going to be moving 20,000 troops to Eastern Europe for this exercise. And it's the largest movement of troops by the UK in 40 years. Okay, in 40 years, the UK has not moved that many troops outside of their border. Okay, and in my opinion, I think that most of them are probably going to end up staying after the exercises are over. They're probably going to do what Russia does when they do exercises. They use it as a cover for mobilization. Okay, like they did right before they invaded Ukraine. They remember it was almost a year before they invaded Ukraine. They moved like 100,000 plus troops to the border of Ukraine, and they said that it was just an exercise. And then it wasn't an exercise. Most of those troops ended up staying. And then sure enough, they ended up invading. Okay. And where was the mainstream media? Okay. Why didn't the mainstream media catch on to that? Okay. They didn't care about that because they were too hyper focused on Trump and all that BS. NATO to start biggest war games in decades next week involving around 90,000 personnel. Now, what's interesting is originally NATO was supposed to start this exercise in February, and now it's going to start on Monday, on the 22nd, okay? NATO will launch next week its biggest military exercises in decades with around 90,000 personnel set to take part in months-long war games aimed at showing that the alliance can defend all of its territory up to its border with Russia, top officers said Thursday. The exercises come as Russia's war on Ukraine bogs down. NATO as an organization is not directly involved in the conflict except to supply Kyiv with non-lethal support. Although many member countries send weapons and ammunition individually or in groups and provide military training, blah, blah, blah. Let's see here. In the months before Russian President Vladimir Putin ordered Russian troops into Ukraine in February 2022, NATO began beefing up security on its eastern flank with Russia and Ukraine. It's the alliance's biggest buildup since the Cold War. The war games are meant to deter Russia from targeting a member country. Okay, so this is not just an exercise, guys. They're concerned about something going down. They're concerned that Russia could launch a surprise attack on Poland and the Baltics and Finland. And so they're scrambling to move 90,000 troops into Eastern Europe. Okay, this is not an exercise. I don't care what they say it is. It's not an exercise. It might be partially an exercise, but it's not the only reason why they're doing this. Okay, you don't have exercises with 90,000 troops that last several months. Okay, several months, guys, several months. I've never heard of exercises with that many troops lasting for several months. Okay, that's a huge drain in resources I mean, just think of all the logistics involved in that, moving all that equipment, moving all those people. You don't normally do that just for an exercise. I mean, just the logistics involved is would cost millions and millions of dollars to do that. Okay, just getting everybody there, moving all the fuel, all the food, housing all these troops. I mean, just think of that's a massive undertaking. Okay. The exercises, dubbed Steadfast Defender 24, will show that NATO can conduct and sustain complex multi domain operations over several months across thousands of kilometers from the high north to Central and Eastern Europe and in any condition. Troops will be moving to and through Europe until the end of May in what NATO describes as a simulated emerging conflict scenario with a near peer adversary. Under NATO's new defense plans, its chief adversaries are Russia and terror organizations. The alliance will demonstrate its ability to reinforce the Euro Atlantic area via transatlantic movement of forces from North America. NATO's Supreme Allied Commander, U.S. General Christopher Cavoli, told reporters. Cavoli said it will demonstrate our unity, our strength, and our determination to protect each other. So this is interesting, guys. Okay, it says here transatlantic movement. So that sounds a lot like the U.S. moving forces into Europe. That's what it sounds like to me. Transatlantic, okay, crossing the Atlantic. A chair of the NATO Military Committee, Admiral Rob Bauer, said that it's a record number of troops that we can bring to bear and have an exercise within that size across the alliance, across the ocean from the U.S. to Europe. Bauer described it as a big change compared to troop numbers exercising just a year ago. Sweden, which is expected to join NATO this year, will also take part. UK Defense Secretary Grant Shapps has said that the government in London would send 20,000 troops backed by advanced fighter jets, surveillance planes, warships, and submarines, with many being deployed in Eastern Europe from February to June. Okay? So it's not just the troops, guys. They're moving F-35s. They're moving all kinds of warships. I think they're also going to be moving one of their aircraft carriers, the UK. They're going to be moving an aircraft carrier strike group that they have. They're going to be moving surveillance planes, submarines, okay? I mean, this is a serious situation, okay? We're not talking about some little, BS exercise here. This is a very, very, serious exercise, okay? Let me just see what you guys are saying here in the chat. Justin Wenzel, thank you so much for the donation. I really appreciate it. Happy Friday. Michael Sutton, thank you so much for gifting 10 memberships. That's incredible. Hope you have a great Friday and a great weekend. Thank you so much. It's very generous. Thank you. So continuing on, in case you guys didn't see, I want to read to you about these leaked German documents. Okay. German classified documents show Russia could expand its war on Ukraine by attacking NATO ally countries next year, according to reports. German newspaper Bild published classified documents outlining how Germany plans to prepare for an offensive by Russian President Vladimir Putin. The outlet claims the outlet based its claims on information obtained from the German Ministry of Defense and said armed forces in Europe are preparing for an attack on Eastern Europe, which could include a cyber offensive. Okay. So they're already preparing for this, guys. Okay. Bild described the scenario that shows Russia by July could begin launching severe cyber attacks in the Baltics, drawing dissatisfaction from Russians living in Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. Then in September, clashes could escalate according to the classified documents and be used by Putin as a reason to launch the next phase called Zapad 2024, which is described as a large scale military exercise involving 50,000 Russian troops in Western Russia and Belarus. According to the documents, Russia could then mobilize troops and mid range missiles to Kaliningrad, which is a Russian territory located in between the NATO countries of Poland and Lithuania. Bild also reported that by December, Russia could use the U.S. presidential election as an opportunity to disperse more propaganda of border conflict or riots with numerous deaths to fuel violence in the Suwalki Gap, bringing on unrest. Okay, so pretty crazy. The following month, in January 2025, Russia would then accuse Western allies of planning moves against Putin's regime. And then it looks like Russia would then make their move after that. But it's clear that NATO is preparing for something. Okay, they're not moving 90,000 troops just for some exercise. It's just pretty clear to me. It's pretty obvious what's going on here. Thank you, James Plunk. Thank you very much. So get prepared, guys. Things are about to get really crazy. Okay. I'm just going to read to you something about Sweden. It might be old news for some of you, but it's worth recapping. Sweden's civil defense minister has warned that 200 years of peace the nation has enjoyed could be coming to an end, and that Swedes must prepare for war, including an all-out defense of their nation. Carl Oskar Bolin told his countrymen they must get moving because the world has become more dangerous than it has been for a very long time. Bolin made the remarks at a defense conference on January 8th. Many have said it before me, but let me do so in an official capacity more plainly and with naked clarity. There could be a war in Sweden, he said. Wow, guys. Okay. So the Swedish civil defense minister is concerned. And here's that guy, Rob Bauer, okay, the top NATO general. Let's listen to what he said. I mean, you can hear exactly what he said here.
Things like that. That's simple things. But it starts there. The realization that not everything is plannable, not everything is going to be hunky-dory in the next 20 years. I'm not saying it is going wrong tomorrow, but we have to realize it's not a given that we are in peace. And that's why we have the plans. That's why we are preparing for a conflict with Russia and the terror groups, if it comes to it, if they attack us. We're not seeking any conflict. But if they attack us, we have to be ready. Things like that. That's simple things. But it starts there. The realization that not everything is plannable, not everything is going to be hunky-dory in the next 20 years. I'm not saying it is going wrong tomorrow, but we have to realize it's not a given that we are in peace. And that's why we have the plans. That's why we are preparing for a conflict with Russia and the terror groups, if it comes to it, if they attack us. We're not seeking any conflict. But if they attack us, we have to be ready.
Wow. Let's listen to that again.
Are preparing for a conflict with. That's why we have the plans. That's why we are preparing for a conflict with Russia and the terror groups, if it comes to it, if they attack us. We're not seeking any conflict. But if they attack us, we have to be ready.
So there you have it, guys. And here we have a post from this is the I think this is the Latvian or Estonian foreign minister, or looks like Latvian. And it's what he says here about the Baltic line, that defense line. Very productive and practical meeting with my Baltic colleagues. The Baltic states will continue to support Ukraine militarily with training, equipment, and through our drone, IT, and demining coalitions. We will establish the Baltic defense line to defend NATO's eastern flank and deny freedom of movement for our adversaries. Okay. So huge news, guys. Absolutely huge. Okay. And I want to just show you guys some of the nuclear warplanes that were up in the air earlier today. This was in the evening time. We had 2 U.S. nuclear war command and control planes in the air. And then we had a nuke sniffer plane that was doing loops near Omaha, Nebraska. Okay. I don't know if that's related to Kim Jong-un, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. But, Kim Jong-un tested underwater nuclear armed drone. Okay, basically like a copy of Russia's Status 6 Poseidon. Very concerning, guys. Okay, so now, in addition to having solid fueled ICBMs, solid fueled IRBMs, they now have a nuclear armed underwater drone. Okay, so this is extremely concerning. Very, very concerning. Okay. So here's a close-up shot of that nuke sniffer that was flying in Omaha, Nebraska area. It was doing some loops outside of Offutt Air Base for a little while. Okay, this was in the evening earlier today. And this was in the afternoon. We had 3 nuclear war command and control planes in the air, and we had a B-52 nuclear bomber in the air at the same time. Okay, so I think a total of 4 or 5 nuclear war command and control planes in the air today, plus a nuke sniffer, plus a B-52. So U.S. nuclear forces are on high alert, guys. We had a lot of activity in Romania last night. There were several U.S. and NATO reconnaissance planes patrolling the Romanian Black Sea coastline. You can see here 2 rivet joints, an E-3 Sentry, and an aerial refueler. Okay, this was earlier this morning. Here's a closer shot, and they were all patrolling Romania, eastern Romania, near Moldova and the Black Sea. So they were definitely concerned about something over there. So pretty serious stuff, guys. Want to just read to you some very serious news coming out of the Middle East. So this is being reported by the Washington Post, like I said in the beginning of the stream. Apparently Israel is planning an offensive against Hezbollah at the end of the month. This is being reported by the Washington Post. Okay, so I'll show you the actual article that talks about this. Okay, this was posted this morning. The high-stakes diplomatic scramble to avert an Israel-Lebanon war. And down here it says Israel told Washington in late December that if a long-term border agreement cannot be reached with Lebanon over the next several weeks, according to a Western diplomat and 3 Lebanese officials, Israel will escalate its fight with Hezbollah, a scenario the Biden administration and European countries have tried strenuously to avoid. The officials familiar with the talks understood that Israel was eyeing the end of January as a target for coming to an agreement. The Israelis have not put forward a hard deadline for when they will step up their military campaign against Hezbollah, a senior U.S. official told the Washington Post, but he acknowledges that the window for negotiations is narrowing. Okay, so pretty serious, guys. End of January is basically kind of the deadline for any kind of diplomatic agreement. Okay, so we need to be prepared. That's another war front that we have to deal with. Okay, and looks like the U.S. launched another operation into Yemen today. Here we have an official post by U.S. Central Command on their Twitter account, and basically they're just confirming that they launched an operation into Yemen targeting the Houthis. It says here, as part of ongoing efforts to protect freedom of navigation and prevent attacks on maritime vessels, U.S. Navy ships are present in the Red Sea on January 19th at approximately 6:45 p.m. Yemen time. U.S. Central Command forces conducted an operation against 3 Houthi anti-ship missiles that were aimed into the southern Red Sea and were prepared to launch. U.S. forces identified the missiles in Houthi-controlled areas of Yemen and determined that they presented an imminent threat to merchant vessels and the U.S. Navy ships in the region. U.S. forces subsequently struck and destroyed the missiles in self-defense. Okay, so this is the 7th operation. Okay, obviously the first 2 operations were the serious ones where they, targeted like hundreds of different sites. But it looks like the Houthis are not planning to stop anytime soon. Okay, so it's only going to escalate, guys. It's only going to escalate from here on out. What's going on, New York Adventurer? How's it going? Hope you got a little bit of snow today. What's going on, Mud and Munitions? Praying and Prepping says 200 push-ups, 100 pull-ups, and 300 air squats daily as a prep. Yeah, definitely. Exercise is really important. You have to stay in shape. Staying in some kind of decent physical shape is critical. One of the most important preps, I've said that for many years, it's probably in the top 3 most important preps is your health and fitness. If you're not healthy and you're not in some kind of decent shape, it's going to be hard to survive SHTF. You don't have to be an all-star athlete, but just being, somewhat capable is important. Let me just read to you about North Korea now. North Korea carried out a test of an underwater nuclear weapons system, the secretive nation's state media reported on Friday, in the latest escalation of tensions in the Indo-Pacific as Pyongyang forges ahead with weapons testing. Pyongyang tested its Hail 523 in the East Sea, also known as the Sea of Japan. North Korea's defense ministry said on Friday, according to the state-run Korean Central News Agency. It was initially tested in early 2023, described by press releases from the country as an underwater nuclear attack drone. This week's test was a response to joint naval drills carried out by the U.S., South Korea, and Japan earlier this week, Pyongyang said. The large-scale 3-day drills involved the USS Carl Vinson Carrier Strike Group and enhanced combined readiness and capabilities and support a free and open Indo-Pacific, the U.S. military said. The military exercises constituted a further cause of destabilizing the regional situation and are considered a serious threat to North Korea's national security, Pyongyang said. We strongly denounce the U.S. and its followers for their reckless acts of seriously threatening the security of North Korea from the outset of the year and sternly warn them of the catastrophic consequences to be entailed by them, North Korea's defense ministry said in a statement. North Korea has ramped up its munitions industry and nuclear weapons sector and carried out a slew of recent ballistic missile tests that go against UN sanctions. So I just want to remind you guys that North Korea has spun up a second light water reactor. Okay. North Korea has built a second reactor for enriching uranium. They've tested several solid fueled missiles. Now, one of them had a hypersonic glide vehicle on it, okay, some kind of hypersonic warhead. One of them was an ICBM that had a range of 15,000 kilometers. And now they're testing an underwater nuclear attack drone. And 2 weeks ago, they launched hundreds of artillery shells at South Korea, and a lot of them landed in South Korean territory. Okay. So it's clear to me that North Korea is really ratcheting up their, you know, they're escalating. They're escalating tremendously. Okay. And that's because they see that the U.S. is bogged down in Ukraine. They're bogged down in the Middle East. And they may figure that now is a good opportunity to make their move on South Korea, or maybe even to attack a U.S. base. Maybe they're going to wait for China to go after Taiwan. China has already put their China has started military exercises around Taiwan. They've been sending probably 24 planes a day to Taiwan to fly around the island, different types of planes from, radar planes to fighter jets to transport planes, all kinds of stuff. And a few months ago, I covered a story where there was satellite imagery showing these unmarked vessels that were at a port in China right across from Taiwan. And those unmarked vessels were affiliated with China's military. Okay. And many experts were saying that that was basically a pre-staging of equipment that they could use to make amphibious landings on Taiwan. They have these unmarked vessels, and they could put troops and equipment on them and send them across the Taiwan Strait, and nobody would know, okay, because they look just like normal ships, okay? So it's a pretty serious situation, but North Korea is spinning up another nuclear reactor, and they just tested a nuclear armed drone. Absolutely crazy, guys. Just totally insane. DRick24, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Mike Subchinsky, thank you for the donation. How is your friend doing, Greg, the one with his truck? He's doing a lot better now. He's doing a lot better. He was able to catch up on all his bills thanks to you guys. So he's doing a lot better. He's in good spirits now. He's going to get his truck fixed, and everything turned out well. DRick24, thank you so much for that very generous donation. I really appreciate it. Hope you're having a great Friday. Smoking Swamp Outdoors says awesome. Michael Gale says that's great, Greg. Your best prep is to have no debt. Yeah, if you can pay down your debt, get rid of that debt, because these companies, they're sharks. That's what they want. They want you to go into debt so they can, make a killing off of that interest rate. Angela Dunn, how's it going? So I'm going to continue on with this article from Newsweek talking about this North Korean underwater nuclear attack drone. North Korea said in March 2023 that it had tested the Hail for several days before detonating the test warhead. Hail, or tsunami, is designed to carry out stealth attacks in enemy waters, state media reported. The reliability and safety of the weapons system were verified, the KCNA reported. A report published by KCNA weeks later said Pyongyang had tested another underwater nuclear attack drone for 71 hours and proved its fatal attack ability. So they actually detonated some kind of warhead. I have a picture here. I'll share the picture with you guys. This is that underwater attack drone. It looks like they detonated some kind of warhead. I don't know if this is from last year or if this is from the test the other day, but that could be why we had the nuke sniffer up in the air today, and why we had a lot of nuclear war command and control planes in the air. Let's see here. What else are they saying? In September, North Korea said it had debuted its first tactical nuclear attack submarine able to carry and launch nuclear weapons. There is some doubt among Western analysts about the submarine's true capabilities. In mid-December, Pyongyang fired a long-range ballistic missile in a test that put the whole of the U.S. territory in North Korea's range, Japan said at the time. Pyongyang fired another ballistic missile on Sunday, which the U.S. military said highlights the destabilizing impact, blah, 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 blah. In late November, North Korea launched its first military reconnaissance satellite, which the North Korean leader heralded as a new era of space power. Okay, so they're launching missiles, solid-fueled missiles. They're launching hypersonic warheads, underwater nuclear drones, spy satellites, okay? They're sending Russia thousands and thousands of containers of ammunition. Okay, I don't know if you guys remember that, but North Korea sent like 5,000 shipping containers full of ammunition to Russia for the war in Ukraine. Okay, millions of artillery shells. Okay, so Russia's planning another offensive, guys, regardless of what the mainstream media wants you to think. They want you to think that, oh, Russia's weak, Russia's tired, they're on the way out. No, that's not true. They just got millions of artillery shells from North Korea. They've increased their military spending. They've been doing nothing but building missiles every single month all of last year. Okay, at least 100 missiles per month. Okay, advanced missiles that they haven't really used much of yet. They're planning a big offensive, guys. Okay, they're going to exploit the weakness, and the weakness is that the West is not agreeing on aid packages. They're not giving Ukraine the weapons that they need to win the war. Okay, they're giving Ukraine the old junk that they don't want. They're giving Ukraine basically second-rate weaponry. Okay, the best thing that they got was the HIMARS, and even then, with the HIMARS, it took almost a year for them to get the ATACMS, and they still don't have a lot of long-range capabilities. So it's coming, guys. I think this spring and this summer is going to be insane. I think we're going to see all these war fronts popping up at the same time. We're going to see Russia launch a massive offensive against Ukraine. Potentially, Ukraine could launch a counteroffensive again. We're going to have North Korea potentially try to do something to South Korea. Potentially China going after Taiwan. Potentially Russia going after the Baltics. I mean, it's just so much going on. It's absolutely insane. So get prepared, guys. And here we have a picture of the exercise that took place with Japan and the U.S. This is the one that North Korea was not happy about. Okay, they did an exercise with B-1 nuclear bombers, guys. Okay, they flew 2 B-1 bombers from Dias Air Force Base to Japan, and they did a bombing exercise, okay, in the Sea of Japan. And these 2 bombers are going to stay in Singapore now. So we basically moved 2 nuclear bombers to Asia. We also have an extra aircraft carrier strike group going to Asia right now. So here are the 2 nuclear bombers. They almost look like fighter jets. They look like really large fighter jets. Okay, so here are Japanese F-15s that were escorting them, and then these two big guys up here are the nuclear bombers. They're B-1s, and I know a lot of you guys say, "Oh, they're only made for conventional weapons. Oh, they're not nuclear anymore." Yeah, right. If you really believe that, then you really need to work on your critical thinking skills. Okay, so very crazy situation, guys, in Asia. And here we have the location of all the U.S. aircraft carrier strike groups around the world. And you can see the Teddy Roosevelt Carrier Strike Group just took off from California, and it's heading into the Western Pacific. And there's already how many? 2 aircraft carrier strike groups already in the Western Pacific. We have the Carl Vinson and the Ronald Reagan carrier strike groups, and now we're going to have the Teddy Roosevelt going out there. Okay, so yeah, things are really escalating, guys. Okay, and we have some experts saying that Kim Jong Un could potentially try to launch an attack on South Korea this year. Okay, and not this is not just NYPrepper. This is actual highly regarded experts. Let me read to you what they have to say. Let me see here. Some North Korea watchers are wondering, is Kim preparing for war? 2 prominent scholars, neither known for having hawkish views, warned last week that Kim's calculations have significantly changed since he has last sat down for nuclear negotiations in 2019. They say U.S. policymakers who expect more of the same from Kim are unprepared for potentially dangerous measures he is now preparing to take. We should pay attention to the possibility that Kim Jong Un has somehow figured out how he could prepare and start some sort of a military conflict and be able to get away with that, said Siegfried Hecker, a renowned American nuclear scientist who has visited North Korea on numerous occasions. Okay, so you can look him up, Siegfried Hecker, renowned American nuclear scientist who visited North Korea on numerous occasions, said we should pay attention to the possibility that Kim Jong Un has somehow figured out how he could prepare and start some sort of a military conflict and be able to get away with that. Wow. Okay. So this is not just NYPrepper talking about it. This is an actual expert, a North Korea expert saying that. Okay. He and Robert Carlin, formerly the CIA's leading North Korea analyst and a close reader of Pyongyang's propaganda, wrote the article warning North Korea could seriously be moving into a war footing. Wow, guys. There have been signs since 2022 that Pyongyang is reorienting its foreign relations priorities. Kim signaled through speeches that he was seeking to reinforce ties with Russia and China. Just this week, Foreign Minister Cho Son-hui has been in Moscow, where her Russian hosts reiterated their commitment to developing relations with North Korea in all areas, including sensitive ones. And Putin actually met her, or him, I don't know, her, him, whatever. As for relations with the United States, Kim Jong-un passed a new nuclear law in 2022, declared there would be absolutely no denuclearization, no negotiation, and no bargaining chip to trade, indicating he would not return to talks if denuclearization were on the agenda. Wow, guys. So it's not looking too good. It's not looking good at all. If North Korea really continues building up their arsenal, it's really going to be a very bad situation. We could have another war in Korea, guys, another Korean war. Okay, that's a very real possibility. Okay. We have some updates from the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant in Ukraine. There's some more concerning information coming out from there. I mean, there's just so much concerning news coming out tonight. It's hard to keep track of all of this. Over here says I ride the subway in New York City every day. You can't scare me. Yeah, the New York City subway and New York trains are definitely pretty scary for sure. uh, Mike Subchinsky says God always wins. Amen. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. And I agree. God does always win. Laura Short, thank you for the donation. Prepper Tribe, how's it going, man? Good to see you. Thanks for gifting 10 memberships. Hope you're having a good Friday night. Thank you so much. If you guys are not aware of who Prepper Tribe is, he's a pretty well known prepper on YouTube. You guys should check him out. Prepper Tribe. He's a buddy of mine. He has a great channel, very down to earth guy. And I'm not just saying that because you gifted the memberships, but I'm just, sharing out your channel. Nancy Drew, thank you so much for the donation. I hope you're having a great Friday night. You are very appreciated, Greg. God bless you and keep you safe, healthy, and on our airwaves. Thank you, Nancy Drew. I appreciate that. I hope so too. And I always keep you guys in my prayers as well. So let me just share with you guys what's going on in Ukraine here. This was put out by the International Atomic Energy Agency. They're concerned about one of the reactor halls. They haven't gotten access to one of the reactor halls in over a week. And even now they've gotten access to it, but they haven't gotten full access to the reactor hall. The Russian forces are still preventing them from getting full access. Okay, so that is very concerning. International Atomic Energy Agency experts were yesterday granted access to the reactor hall of Unit 6 of Ukraine's Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant after previously having not been given access, Director General Rafael Grossi said. On Friday last week, the ZNPP had not given permission for the IAEA support and assistance mission to the ZNPP team to access the Unit 6 reactor hall, proposing instead that the team enter the area in about a week's time. However, access was granted yesterday. Director General Grossi welcomes this constructive step. While in the reactor hall, the team observed main components of the reactor, confirming the cold shutdown state of the reactor. While the team was present in the reactor hall, the operators transferred the operation of the cooling pumps of the spent fuel pool from one safety train to another. During a walk down to the other areas of Unit 6 yesterday, the team visited the turbine hall of Unit 6, but were once again denied access to some areas of the turbine hall. So that's pretty suspicious, guys. First, Russia tells them that they have to wait a week before they can enter Unit 6. Okay, Unit 6, that's basically just another way of saying the sixth nuclear reactor. Okay, this power plant has 6 nuclear reactors. And so the Russians told them, you got to wait another week before we'll let you in. And then they let them in, and then they're still not getting access to the turbine hall. Okay, the team visited the turbine hall of Unit 6, but were once again denied access. So I don't know if they have charges set up over there. I don't know, guys. If they have some demolition charges set up and they don't want, the IAEA to see that. But it's very suspicious to me. I think it's extremely unusual. Cats 1964 says, thank you, Greg, for keeping us informed. No problem, Cats. I hope you're doing well. So let me just continue with the news here. So that's one posting that they made this week. Here's another posting from them. They were talking about some backup transformers that had issues. Thursday's failure of two of the ZNPP's backup power electrical transformers showed the continuing vulnerability in the availability of external power, which the plant needs to cool its 6 reactors and for other essential nuclear safety and security functions. Wow, guys. I missed the first paragraph. Ukraine's Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant lost its immediate backup power supply to the reactor units for several hours this week in the latest incident, underlining persistent nuclear safety and security risks at the site. Wow, guys. So they lost their immediate backup power for several hours this week. Okay. Even though the backup 330 kilovolt line remained available and could have provided power to the ZNPP if the 750 kilovolt line was lost, the failure reduced the redundancy of the already fragile power supply. These two power lines are the only ones that remain available for Europe's largest nuclear power plant combined or compared to 4 750 kilovolt lines and 6 330 kilovolt lines before the conflict. The backup power supply was restored 8 hours later when 2 other backup power electrical transformers were put into operation. The ZNPP is investigating the cause of the failure, informing the IAEA experts at the site that there was no sign of external transformer damage. So no external damage. That's pretty interesting. The incident came just a few weeks after the ZNPP, following discussions with the IAEA, carried out work on the backup power electrical transformer so that the 330 kilovolt line could immediately deliver electricity if the 750 kilovolt line were to fail, as has happened repeatedly during the armed conflict. The plant's vulnerable power status remains one of the main dangers for nuclear safety and security at the site. The situation remains extremely worrying in this respect. The site has already lost all off-site power 8 times since August 2022, forcing it to rely on emergency diesel generators. Wow, guys. During the past week, the IAEA experts discussed the plant's maintenance activities with the ZNPP and were shown its high-level 2024 maintenance plan for such work, which is vital for nuclear safety and security. The ZNPP informed the IAEA team that the priority is to perform maintenance on the site's safety systems as well as important activities not conducted last year. The annual maintenance plan includes the safety systems, diesel generators, unit transformers, and the 750 kilovolt electrical switchyard. The IAEA team did not receive a copy of the maintenance plan for a detailed review. However, based on discussions and information provided to the team, the IAEA concludes that the ZNPP will not be implementing a comprehensive maintenance plan during 2024. Wow. That's pretty concerning. So backup power issues, no maintenance plan. Just it looks like this power plant is just on the verge of melting down or just blowing up. Basically, very serious situation over there. See what you guys are saying here in the chat. Make a makeshift greenhouse, wood and old windows. Yeah, greenhouses are great. DY77 says special Chernobyl operation. That's funny. Angela Commander says, I love my NYPrepper family. What's going on, Tartan Granny? Shalom, Smoking Swamp Outdoors. I hope everything's going well with you as well. So let me just continue on with this. There's some other nuggets here. The IAEA team has continued to conduct walkdowns at the site, including to all 6 main control rooms yesterday, where the experts were able to observe staffing levels but could not ask questions about their qualifications and experience. After being granted access to the reactor hall of Unit 6 earlier this week, the IAEA experts are still seeking access to the other reactor halls, as well as to parts of all 6 turbine halls that they have not yet been able to visit, as well as to some of the reactor rooftops. Such access is needed to monitor nuclear safety and security. So they're not being given access to the parts of the turbine halls. They're not being given access to parts of the reactor halls. They're not being given access to the reactor rooftops. Very suspicious. The IAEA team has continued to monitor the situation and gather information regarding boric acid deposits in some of the safety system rooms of Unit 6, which were first observed on December 22nd. During yesterday's visit to its main control room, the team confirmed that the level of boric acid in the storage tank was above the minimum level in the technical specifications, despite the previously observed leak of boric acid. So now they're leaking boric acid, guys. I mean, that can't be good. And Russia has put mines on the perimeter of the ZNPP. It's 100% true. They put anti-personnel mines all around it, mines along the perimeter of the ZNPP in a buffer zone between the facility's internal and external fences, which were previously identified by the IAEA team and were removed in November 2023, are now back in place. This is a restricted area inaccessible to operational plant personnel. Director General Grossi reiterated that the presence of mines is inconsistent with the IAEA safety standards. Okay, so they're saying that the mines are back. Okay, that Russia removed the mines. Now they put the mines back, basically around the perimeter. So, very concerning situation over there in Ukraine. Um, Very concerning. And we have some Hamas senior officials that met with Russian deputy foreign minister. So that just tells you that Russia is not on the side of Israel, guys. Okay, at least the Russian government isn't. Okay, the Russian government is pro Hamas, pro. All they support all these Islamic radicals. They support Iran. They support Hamas. Okay, what does that tell you? Okay, if it looks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. And the Bible tells us that Russia is going to make an alliance with all these Islamic radical countries, and they're going to try to attack Israel together in the last days. Okay, before Jesus Christ returns during the tribulation period. Halfway through the tribulation period, Russia and all these countries are going to get together and they're going to try to launch a surprise attack on Israel. Okay, so Bible prophecy is slowly being fulfilled here. Okay, we're seeing this alliance between the Russian government and all these radical Islamic countries getting stronger and stronger. Yeah, I don't know what the boric acid is for. I have to read more about what they use that for in nuclear power plants. If anybody has an idea, feel free to put it in the chat. New York Adventurer says, man, that's a lot of mines. Yeah, I think they put over 100 mines around the nuclear power plant, various types of mines, but mostly apparently they were just claymore mines, like, anti-personnel directional mines. But they put like hundreds of them all around the nuclear plant. So, see here. Let's see what else. What else was there that I wanted to talk about? Uh, I think I already read to you about. Yeah, I already read to you about Western officials reported that Israel is targeting the end of January for escalation of military action against Hezbollah. That was reported by Washington Post. The Washington Post. Bloomberg is reporting that the U.S. and the U.K. are exploring ways to step up their campaign against the Houthis. And apparently, Hezbollah has sent some of their forces to eastern Syria. They sent 8 SUVs, 3 T 72 tanks, and 2 BMPs, and dozens of personnel into eastern Syria. That's where the U.S. has one of their bases over there. So I don't know if Hezbollah is going to launch some kind of a surprise attack. Apparently, this is the Unit 313, which is some kind of Hezbollah militia. And Ukraine hit a massive fuel depot in Bryansk, Russia, with drones earlier today. 4 massive fuel containers are on fire now, which is just absolutely crazy, guys. Apparently, Russia has started production of a clone of the Iranian Shahed drones. It's going to be called the Yastreb. Yastreb in Russian means hawk. This is being reported by the Institute for the Study of War. And apparently, the Yastreb is going to have a range of 350 kilometers and a total weight of 800 kilograms. And apparently, they're also going to use some kind of decoys to help them penetrate Ukrainian air defenses and anti drone systems. Okay, so Russia is building their own drones now. Okay, so it's crazy how these drones are becoming like a new weapon of war. Ever since this war started, the drones are like the future weapon now. And I suspect that, as time goes on, we're going to see more countries perfect their drone technology, and it's almost like Terminator, okay? And the next step, all they have to do is build these cheap drones, and make them, have artificial intelligence, and just send out a swarm of drones, like hundreds of drones that can think and make their own decisions and fly into an area and just start detonating all over the place. Um, so, it's just a crazy situation. Uh, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Biden discussed the state of the war in their first call in 27 days. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu spoke on the phone with U.S. President Joe Biden Friday evening in what was their first conversation in 27 days. Hebrew media reported that the conversation lasted for nearly 40 minutes and was held in good spirits. White House National Security Council spokesman John Kirby said during a press briefing that the two discussed ongoing efforts to secure the release of all remaining detainees held in Gaza. The two leaders also reviewed the situation in Gaza and the shift to targeted operations that will enable the flow of increasing amounts of humanitarian assistance while keeping the military pressure on Hamas and its leaders significant, Kirby said. Biden stressed Israel's responsibility, even as it maintains military pressure on Hamas and its leaders, to reduce civilian harm and to protect innocent civilians, Kirby said. Also, during the call, Biden asked for a status update regarding the hundreds of millions of dollars in tax revenues that Israel has been withholding from the Palestinian Authority, which has infuriated the U.S. Kirby noted that the funds also go toward paying the salaries of the Palestinian Authority security forces with whom Israel cooperates to combat terror in the West Bank. I don't know if I'm going to read this whole thing to you. It's a lot of stuff. So basically, they spoke on the phone. So let's see. I'm going to read to you some headlines here coming from Ukraine. Polish farmers are going to be holding a large protest against imports from Ukraine. Polish farmers opposed to imports of agricultural products from Ukraine plan to hold a major protest on January 24th by blocking roads across the country. Wow. So that's pretty serious, guys. So Polish farmers are going to hold a large protest. They're going to block roads. And Russian forces shelled the Sumy Oblast 9 times, firing at 4 communities along the border on January 19th. The Sumy Oblast Military Administration reported. So Russia is continuing to shell the northern part of Ukraine, which is kind of an indication that they might be making a move soon. Um, the Ukrainian government has allocated a record $466 million to defensive fortifications. I don't know if that's U.S. money or if that's just the equivalent of U.S. dollars, but basically $500 million spent on fortifications. Okay. So this is a very serious war, what's going on right now in Ukraine. This is the largest land war since World War II. Okay. On the European continent, anyway. What's going on, NYPrepper? How's it going? So this is crazy, guys. Let's see here. Speaking at a press conference in December, President Vladimir Zelensky said that Kharkiv Oblast boasts the strongest fortifications. The president added that he had appealed to authorities in other regions to reach the same standards. Let's see what else here. Russia is developing a cheaper version of the Iranian-made Shahed drone called the Hawk. Russian state-controlled media TASS reported on January 18th, citing the Russian military design bureau Stratim. The drone will allegedly be cheaper than the Iranian-made Shahed drone, which is in frequent use by Russia in its war against Ukraine, and will be made entirely out of commercial components. According to the Russian bureau, the Hawk has a range of 350 kilometers and can be equipped with high explosive warheads with a payload of 16 kilograms. That's almost 40 pounds, or it might be 40 pounds. TASS claimed the drone will be used as a pseudo cruise missile or a decoy target against Ukrainian air defense systems. The Bureau is allegedly completing a series of flight tests, and the drone will be completed in the first half of 2024. So Russia's building their own drones now. Democrats mull protecting Republican House Speaker to secure Ukraine aid. Some Democrats consider protecting Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson's gavel to win his support for the bipartisan deal on border security and Ukraine aid drafted in the U.S. Senate, Politico reported on January 19th. As early as next week, a bipartisan group of negotiators is expected to unveil the deal in the Senate, including provisions on immigration policy and funding for Kyiv. Despite some concessions made by the White House, many worry that the deal will not pass by House Republicans. The funding request of over $110 billion, including around $61 billion for Ukraine, has been stuck in Congress since autumn of 2023. Hoping to secure assistance for Kyiv after the Pentagon said that the current funds ran out, several Democratic lawmakers reportedly contemplated throwing their votes behind Johnson if more hardline members of his party attempt to oust him. This would be a major strategy shift as the Democratic Party refused to protect Johnson's predecessor, Kevin McCarthy, who was considered less conservative than the current speaker. McCarthy was ousted last October by far-right Republicans. According to Politico, there are doubts whether Johnson would accept such a deal, as it would expose him to pressure from his own party and former President Donald Trump. So very interesting. So that apparently some Democrats want to basically protect Mike Johnson so he doesn't get kicked out for supporting a Ukraine aid bill. It's pretty interesting. Apparently, Zelensky invited Trump to Ukraine. President Zelensky has extended an invitation to Donald Trump to visit Kyiv with a special condition attached. The former U.S. president must demonstrate his ability to bring an end to the war with Russia within 24 hours, as he once promised. So I'm assuming that that's some kind of a joke by Zelensky. Defense Minister Sebastian Lecornu says France will produce and deliver to Ukraine 78 truck-mounted Caesar howitzers by early next year to beef up Kyiv's artillery capability. Let's see. What else here? So yeah, I think I might have covered all the main headlines, guys. Wow, took me almost 2 hours to do that. Britain tested a new laser weapon system recently, the Dragonfire system. And we had some interesting earthquakes in Idaho. Check this out, guys. In Idaho, there was a 2.5 and I think, what is that, a 3.5 magnitude earthquake in central Idaho. There was also an earthquake in Alaska near Fairbanks area. I think it was a 5.3. Pretty strong earthquake there. And looks like we had some quakes here in western Texas, which could be related to fracking or oil drilling potentially. But this one in Idaho is pretty interesting because that's not too far from Yellowstone. Let's see what's over there. I mean, it's kind of in the middle of a national forest, it looks like. Not much over there. So I don't know what's going on, but looks like central Idaho had some quakes. Pretty interesting. This was earlier today. I don't know anybody watching from Idaho. Let me know if you felt anything today. Mike Subchinsky, thank you for the donation. Here's my 4 P's is prayer, 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 and prayer, because only God can save us. Amen, Mike. I agree with you. I totally agree. Kenneth Jackson says Jesus Christ is the only way to heaven. I agree. Thank you for the donation. The Booger Man, thank you for the donation. Hey, Greg, I put my wife and child down yesterday. They ate too much food and I can't prep properly, but now I feel a bit bad. What do I do? I'm not sure what you mean. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Booger Man. Put them down to sleep. Yeah, that's what I figured. I'm not sure. That's a good question. Let's just check out some more of these quakes here. So we had that one in Alaska. We had a few in Alaska. I'm not super worried about that. I mean, that's normal. Alaska always has quakes. I'm not really too concerned about that. So I know a lot of people were concerned about that, but it's pretty normal. It's like someone saying there was a blizzard in Canada. You know, it's not something that's really that unusual. 5.6 magnitude earthquake in Colombia. That's pretty interesting. That's interesting. Larry Schulte says saying things like that are not funny, Booger Man. People will think you are serious and call the cops. Yeah, that's really bizarre. I'm not sure what to make of that. JP, no problem, JP. Sandra Welch says, I'm in Oklahoma and we had several about a week ago. Yeah, the one in Oklahoma was pretty crazy. It was pretty strong. Um, that was definitely unusual. Diane Kinney says that was weird. It was kind of weird, yeah. Mud and Munitions, any thoughts on that jellyfish UFO? If you saw the footage of that thing flying over one of our bases, footage is a few years old, but it was just leaked to the public recently. It was super interesting. I haven't seen that video, jellyfish UFO. I have to search on that. I have to look that one up. Jellyfish UFO. Maybe I can find it. Here we have the weather situation in the U.S. We got some winter storm warnings in West Virginia. We have winter weather advisories in the Ohio Valley and Western Pennsylvania. We have wind chill advisories in much of the Midwest, Kentucky, and Tennessee as well. Lots of wind chill advisories here. Tomorrow's going to be a pretty cold day for much of the country. So stay warm if you're going anywhere. Yeah, 9.0 earthquake in Alaska. That's insane. Wow. Clickbait scam. It's a plastic bag. Interesting. Ross says you finally have snow on the ground. Yeah, the situation with Venezuela and Guyana is quiet for now. Thank God. It would suck to have another war to deal with. So yeah, the situation with Venezuela, Guyana is quiet for now. Look, West Virginia is under a winter storm warning. Let's see, they're going to get additional snow of 2 to 4 inches, winds gusting as high as 40 miles an hour. Wind chills expected as low as 20 below zero. Travel could be difficult to impossible. Widespread blowing snow could significantly reduce visibility. Wow. So West Virginia is under a winter storm warning, wind chill advisory. So if you're traveling through West Virginia or to West Virginia, you may want to wait until that passes. Feels like 5 degrees Fahrenheit in New Jersey. Yeah, I think tomorrow it's going to be pretty cold in New Jersey. You can actually look at the temperatures here. You can check out some of these temperatures. Yeah, New Jersey, we got 20s in New Jersey. Long Island 20s, New York City 20s. Got some really cold air in South Dakota, Nebraska, Iowa right now. Look at these temperatures, guys. Sioux City, minus 13. Sioux Falls, minus 15. Mitchell, minus 17. Omaha, minus 10. Lincoln, minus 11. Wow. Some seriously cold air here. Northern Minnesota, minus 22. That's actually not even super cold for a lot of these areas like Minnesota, North Dakota. I mean, for North Dakota, like minus 30, minus 40 is like considered average for January. So we're getting off pretty easy. All these weather channels are trying to make it seem like, you know, this is some kind of big Arctic blast. It's really not. I mean, it's basically just returning the temperatures to what they should be. Um, maybe some areas like some of the southern states, for them it's a big deal, but like for here, for the northern states, it's not really anything like super crazy. At least in my area and many areas in the northern states, I don't see anything like record breaking coming out of this. It's just feels like a normal winter temperatures. Yeah, it could cripple West Virginia. Tactical McFoley. Yes, it could. Um, yeah, it was a little strange what that guy said. PA has a whole bunch of gun control coming. No, it does not actually, because we have a Republican state Senate. So I don't think it's going to happen. They're going to try. They're going to try. They've been always, all Democrats always try, to do stuff like that, but I don't think it's going to succeed. So, yeah, I doubt it. I highly doubt it. He's picking his nose right now. That's funny, Ross. That's funny. New York Adventure says, I remember your road trip video back in December 2020 that you drove into the brunt of a blizzard in South Dakota and you had the lousy visibility and the winds gusting near hurricane force. Yeah, that was insane. Yeah, that was a crazy storm. There were a lot of car accidents. I remember like a day or two after that storm passed, there were just cars and trucks. It's just all over the side of the road and in the median. People just left their vehicles. They got stuck during the storm and they just left their vehicles. It was just like almost like a graveyard of vehicles laying around. Uh, Electric vehicle batteries can freeze. Interesting. Batteries and salt are not a good mix. Tactical Matt Foley, it says if you live in the Dakotas, you're a prepper out of necessity. Yes, exactly. Yep. I think it's like that in a lot of places. A lot of places, once you get out of the cities, anywhere outside of the cities, um, rural areas, you have to be a prepper by necessity because you're far away from everything. You have to be self-reliant. If you get stuck in a ditch somewhere, you're not going to have a tow truck that's going to be coming in 5 minutes. There's nobody that's going to help you. You're on your own. So, yeah, definitely. Jack K says, my husband, while born in South Korea, grew up in PA and so pretty there in the Allegheny Mountains. I also live in the Blue Ridge Mountains on Virginia and North Carolina. Yeah, the Appalachians are very pretty for sure. Um, so this Arctic blast, it looks like it's going to moderate after this weekend. So if you guys want to do anything snow related, do it this weekend because by Monday the temperatures start to moderate in a lot of the country. So even like next Tuesday and Wednesday, for example, you can see a lot of the country in the 30s and 40s, even 50s, really warming up. So, if you want to enjoy the snow, do it this weekend. Um, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go out in the snow tomorrow potentially. It's supposed to be some very nasty wind chills tomorrow. Also, Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, he said a bunch of stuff this week about. He said that Russia has the upper hand in the war. He said a lot of stuff. So we have to keep an eye on Putin. I'm telling you guys, they're gonna go after Ukraine again, like invasion style. Mud and Munitions says in southern New York, we still have barely zero snow, maybe 2 inches so far. And prior to this was 700 days since February 2022 since we had accumulating snow. Wow, that's crazy. I would be so miserable. I need snow every winter. Like last winter, we had like probably a total of like 18 inches throughout the whole winter. We had one snowstorm that was like 8 inches, and then we had a couple smaller ones. Um, last winter was pretty mild, but we still got 18 inches of snow. And then so far this year, we're probably over around that. Yeah, snowmobiling is definitely fun. Really fun. The Rosh 22 says, Greg, I got a beauty of a buck here. Oh, wow. Congratulations, man. Um, where was that? What state? And how many points? Yeah, this winter is pretty mild. It's going to be a mild winter. We're in a El Nino right now, so El Nino winters are always more mild. So, um, that's unfortunate, but it might change. Here we have the estimated snow depth as of tonight. There's a lot of snow covering the country. I mean, look at that. Basically, 2/3 of the lower 48 is covered in some kind of snow, except like the southern states, coastal areas, but much of the north, pretty much all the Northeast, Midwest, even the southern states, Tennessee, Kentucky, all the Appalachians. So, pretty significant snow. Um, did the Korean underwater nuclear test include a detonation? I believe it did include a detonation. Yes, I think it did. Um, I'm pretty sure it did. Good amount of snow in Northeast Ohio. Yeah, I'm sure probably a lot of lake effect snow there. How much snow is Russia covered in? I'm sure several feet. It seems like this year Europe and Russia are much colder than us. Um, Pretty much all of Russia is under, at least a foot or 2 foot of snow. Even Germany has a good amount of snow, which is, Germany usually not known to be super cold. Um, Snow is good for crops. Interesting. It's still snowing in East Tennessee right now, not accumulating much. Yeah, there was some crazy footage. I was watching some footage from Tennessee and Kentucky with all these pileups and or not pileups, just really snowy roads and people sliding all over the place. It looked like pretty bad conditions over there. I didn't even know Tennessee and Kentucky get that much snow. It looked like up here. The snow was nice until freezing rain got added to the top. Now the roads are icy. Yeah, you got to be careful in situations like that. It's best to just stay indoors. Bailey, any recommendation of a series to binge watch this weekend? Most recent series I watched per your recommendation was Jericho. A plus plus. Have any other similar movie or TV show recommendations? Well, you could check out my series, my fictional series, which is Dark Winter. It's on my channel here. But yeah, as far as like doomsday stuff goes and prepping stuff, there's so many. Um, I would say, what's actually a good one is Amerigeddon. Amerigeddon, that I think that was made by Alex Jones years ago. Amerigeddon, that was a good one. Um, there's a whole bunch. There's American Blackout. That's a good one too. American Blackout. Um, there's a lot of them out there. There's literally a movie called Prepper, which is kind of corny. It's like a lower end budget film, but it actually was pretty interesting. It had some good aspects to it. Let's see what else is there. And there's just so many. The Last of Us. Yeah, I've heard about The Last of Us. I haven't actually watched it though, but I've heard of it. And then you have that movie that Obama made about the forget what that was about. I didn't even see that one yet, so I don't even know if it's any good or not. Um, let's see what was there was. I'm trying to remember some of them. There's so many of these movies now, but there was a few classic ones like Amerigeddon, Jericho, American Blackout. Let's see what else. I think there's also one called just Blackout. Uh, just can't remember. No, I think it's just American Blackout. I don't remember. It is pretty good. The dude who plays Joel is the Mandalorian. He surprised me. Interesting, Steve. I'll I'll check that out. The Last of Us. I'll check it out. Yeah, Red Dawn. Obviously, Red Dawn is good. Um, it was. Oh yeah, what is that one with the zombies? It's Black something. I can't remember what it's called. What is it called? About the zombies. Is, can't remember it. It was like they made two seasons, and it was actually really good. The second season was even better. I just can't remember the name of it. Black Summer. Yeah, Black Summer. That's it. Yeah, Black Summer. Very good. Black Summer is very good, especially the second one. The second one is even better. More, I would say, more prepping related. The second one, the second season is like more. If you're a prepper, it's more interesting. It's a little more technical. Red Dawn original or remake? I think both are good. The remake and the original are both good. I think they're both good. Obviously, the original, you have to see that. Um, Lynn Dunn, how's it going, Lynn Dunn? Thank you so much for your work. No problem, Lynn Dunn. I hope you're doing well. Dawn of the Dead. Yeah, that's a good one. World War Z. Yep. 28 Days Later. Yeah, those are all classics. What about the one with Denzel Washington? What is that one called? The apocalypse movie. Forgot the name of it. That was a good one too. Um, Wolverines. Yes, Wolverines. I Am Legend. Yeah, I Am Legend. Country Christian is asking when are they updating the Doomsday Clock? Yeah, that's supposed to be next week. I think the 23rd. So that's going to be Tuesday. They're going to update the Doomsday Clock. Um, so that's going to be something interesting. I'm going to definitely update you guys as soon as that comes out. I'll let you know. Yeah, Black Summer, very good show. I think they only made 2 seasons. I don't know if they're doing a third. Yeah, they only made 2 seasons. I don't know if they're going to do a third season or not. Um, yeah, they're going to unveil it the 23rd of January at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. They're going to do a live unveiling. We're right now at 90 seconds to midnight, according to them. Let's see, timeline. Yeah, so we're at 90 seconds to midnight right now. But since 2020, we were at 100 seconds to midnight. 100 seconds to midnight for the last 4 years, 3 years. So we're just gradually going downhill. I think we're going to they're going to put us at maybe 60 seconds, possibly 30. I mean, if they put us at 30, that would be really crazy. Yeah, 28 Days Later is definitely a good movie. It's very scary. Uh, the Day After, I didn't see The Day After. Mike Subchinsky, thank you for the donation. Good night. God love you all. Good night, Mike. Thank you for the donation. And I hope you have a good weekend. Planet Terror, I've never seen that. What's the movie with Will Smith with the alien spaceship in New York? I think that's Men in Black. 20 seconds to midnight, that would be insane. 20 seconds to midnight, that would be ridiculous. It feels like 15 seconds to midnight. Yeah, it definitely does. Definitely feels like 15 seconds to midnight for sure. Yeah, I'm going to be doing some more videos on nuclear war survival. A lot of people were asking about nuclear war targets and stuff like that. So um, I'm going to do some more videos and stuff on that. Lynn Dunn says, well, Greg, thank you for all your work for us. I have to get some sleep as I work tomorrow. Trying to save up for a solar generator. Big bucks. Love you all. Be safe. Keep prepping. Have a good night, Lynn Dunn. Sleep well, and I hope you have a good day at work tomorrow. And I hope you can save up for that solar generator. You don't need a big solar generator. Just get a smaller one. You don't need like a massive solar generator. Just get a smaller one, just enough to power some critical appliances and recharge some devices. You don't need like a monstrous solar generator. I mean, if you can afford it, then it's good. But if money's tight, just go for a smaller one. You know. Larry Schulte says that the jellyfish video is a group of balloons with Islamic symbols. The alien scientist channel debunked it a few days ago. Interesting, Larry. Thanks for sharing. Amanda Moss says, "Hey, Greg, if you want to share some of the artwork I sent you, that would be totally cool with me." Oh, yeah, definitely. I can do that. Definitely. Heather of Chajak, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it, and God bless you and your family. I think you said someone was it someone in your son was going to Warsaw, or he was in Warsaw. I hope he enjoys his trip, his time there. Um, so we have a lot of crazy stuff going on, guys. You know, things are really spiraling out of control around the world. Um, so get prepared. You know, pray, get close to God. It's probably the most important prep. That is the most important prep. Not probably, it is. You know, physical preparedness is important, but you got to have some faith in God. Tremors, that was a funny movie. Tremors, funny movie. Mud and Munitions says facts. Um, yeah, Independence Day. Yeah, Independence Day or Men in Black. Yeah, both of those were good movies. Faith, Hope, and Ammo. That's a good one. You need a horse, not a car. Infrastructure will be destroyed, and with cars, you wouldn't be able to evade contaminated zones. Yeah, horses are definitely the best, like bug out vehicle, I guess you could say, because with a horse, I mean, it's the ultimate off road vehicle. A horse can take you anywhere. You know, you don't need a trail even. So yeah, horses are the best. If you want a good bug out vehicle, if you can get a horse, I mean that's amazing. The only thing is you're not going to be able to take as much crap with you, but for just getting out of Dodge, I mean nothing beats a horse. They're also quiet too. They don't have a loud exhaust like a dirt bike or ATV or something. Like a dirt bike, you can hear from miles away. Estonia is building 600 bunkers on the border. Yes, they are. That's the title of the live stream here. Yep. I don't know if you saw the title, Diana, but that's the title of the stream. Trina Edwards, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Hope you're having a good Friday night. Kenneth Jackson says, I have Amish people 1 mile from my home. Yeah, Amish people are great to have nearby for like a end of the world scenario, SHTF, because they're very self-sufficient and they know how to live without a lot of stuff. They can use like hand tools, like the Amish people nearby where I live. They use like all hand tools mostly. Not everything hand tools. I mean, they still use like modern tools. Some of them. It depends on what type of Amish it is, but like they're when they cut the crops, they have the horses, and they till the ground with the horses. They use like sickles and stuff to chop the wheat. Um, it's pretty cool to see that they do that all by hand. It's pretty incredible. Trina Edwards says, "Thank you for your updates. I count on them." My pleasure, Trina. And I did put out an update earlier, guys. If you didn't see it, I recommend you check it out. For some reason, that video didn't do as well, but there was a lot of important information in my update earlier this afternoon. So if you didn't see that update, I recommend you go back after the stream is over and check it out. Twista Sista says, "I'm looking to get a wood burning cook stove. You can heat your house with it too." Yes, you can heat your house with a wood stove, and you can cook. You can boil water. I didn't know there were a lot of Amish in Wisconsin. See, I didn't know that. Interesting. Um, Someone said they're from Dutchess County, New York. I'm very familiar with Dutchess County. Which part of Dutchess County are you? Southern Dutchess or northern, eastern or western? Which part? I know Dutchess County very well. The Book of Eli, yeah, Book of Eli. That was a pretty good one. Book of Eli. Um, yeah, there's one movie I recommend everybody watch. It's called The Colony. The Colony. It's with Lawrence Fishburne, and it's really it's from 2013. It's really creepy. You got to watch it though. I'm not going to give away what happens, but it's definitely a good movie, especially if you're into prepping. I wouldn't necessarily say it's like a prepping movie. It kind of is, I guess, because it's like apocalyptic, but it definitely deals with an aspect of SHTF that not a lot of people think about. And if you watch the movie, you'll know what I mean. You know, some really weird stuff in that movie, but it's good. Beacon, New York. Okay, Beacon, sure. I know Beacon very well. I actually passed by Beacon the other day. I went through the Newburgh Beacon Bridge earlier in the week. They got rid of the toll booths, and now they have the automatic tolls like everywhere else. Leanne, see you later, Leanne. Have a good one. Yeah, The Colony was a good one. Good movie. It's unfortunate that a lot of these actors and actresses, these good actors and actresses, they're all getting older now. They're not making the movies like they used to. Um, T.W. Perry, thanks for staying in the stream all night. I appreciate it. Smoking Swamp Outdoors, thanks for moderating. Cats 1964. Threads, yeah, I've heard about Threads. I haven't seen Threads though. Um, it's about nuclear war. I heard about it. It's a British movie, right? We got a pretty quiet sky tonight as far as nuclear war planes go. I mean, there's nothing in the air. It's very unusual. Um, Very quiet night tonight. Yeah, no transponders probably. Yeah. The Decline on Netflix. I've never seen The Decline. Thanks, Mud and Munitions. I appreciate it. Good to see you in here. I haven't done the giveaway yet. I was busy this week. I was out of town, but I'm going to do the giveaway very soon, either this weekend or early next week, Monday or Tuesday. I had to go out of town for a couple days, so I didn't get a chance. Yeah, calm before the storm, exactly. So yeah, till all the missiles start launching from Iran. Yep. Yeah, that's why you got to enjoy the calm before the craziness happens, I guess. So, um, and then they have that disease X that they're planning on. They're preparing for disease X now. The World Economic Forum. Um, Pretty concerning. This is interesting. We have a U.S. Navy VIP plane going to Belfast. It's pretty interesting. Here we have all the sunspots facing us right now. We got a lot of sunspots. So far, no solar flares, though. I'm kind of disappointed because I want to see an aurora, but we do have a lot of sunspots here, but no solar flares coming out of them. Just going to read to you guys weather synopsis from the National Weather Service. Says here, high pressure over the northern plains will slowly move eastward to the central Appalachians by Sunday evening. Cold air associated with the high will create temperatures 20 to 30 degrees below average from the northern high plains, the plains, and the Mississippi River Valley. The Mississippi Valley upper level energy over the Great Lakes, upper Midwest, and Northeast will produce lake effect snow downwind from the Great Lakes. With a solid northerly component to the wind, the heaviest accumulations will be near the Manistee National Forest and the Michiana region of the lower peninsula of Michigan, as well as the Hiawatha National Forest in the upper peninsula of Michigan from Friday evening into Saturday evening. The snow will also be heaviest in the upslope portion of the central Appalachians and over the Northeast. The lake effect snows will slowly taper off from Saturday evening into Sunday evening. So it looks like Michigan is going to get hit pretty hard. Let's see if we can get some cameras and see what's going on over there right now in Michigan. Let me see here if I can get something going. See if we can get some webcams. It's supposed to be snowing there right now, apparently. Here we are in the upper peninsula, right in the middle of it. There's some street here. This is 4 minutes ago. Doesn't look like there's any snow there now coming down. Obviously, a lot of snow on the ground, but so I think I'm going to wind down the live stream, guys. I'll be back tomorrow with more breaking news. Yeah, it does look beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, the upper peninsula of Michigan is gorgeous. Yeah, the northern lower peninsula is gorgeous too. Here's somewhere in Michigan up there. It's right now, looks like just 34 minutes ago. Bailey says, living near Whiteman Air Force Base, I think there has been a lot of nighttime flight training going on this week. Oh, that's interesting, Bailey. Um, what kind of things have you been seeing over there in Whiteman? A lot of stealth bombers. Thank you, Lexi. I hope you rest well as well. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna wind it down, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Maybe I'll be back tomorrow night with another one. Maybe I won't. It may not necessarily be an emergency alert. We'll see. Maybe just a laid back hangout stream. I don't know. Um, but I'll definitely update you guys with any breaking news tomorrow. Joe Romanino, good to see you in here. Good night, Kinkoi. Good night, Katz. T.W. Perry. Thanks to all the moderators. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Rodney Middleton, I'm going to pick up the gift you sent me soon. Tomorrow I'm going to pick it up. Good night, Joe. Thanks for tuning in again. And all the regulars, thank you guys for watching and for all your support. I appreciate you guys. I know a lot of you guys. I recognize your names. So if I don't call you out by name, it doesn't mean that, I don't know who you are. It's just impossible for me to respond to everybody. But I'm very appreciative of all the regulars here. Thank you guys so much for helping me keep this channel going. Without you guys, this channel wouldn't exist, obviously. So thank you very much. Yeah, Shaun of the Dead. That's a good one. Shaun of the Dead. That's a funny movie. They made a sequel actually too. They made Shaun of the Dead, and then they made a sequel to it. Check out the sequel; it was good. Oh yeah, They Live with Roddy Piper. Yeah, Roddy Piper. Yep, that was a good one. They Live, very good. I would say also it's not really so much prepping, but it's kind of like apocalyptic dystopian stuff. I would check out obviously the Terminator movies. That's all related to AI. I would check out Total Recall with Schwarzenegger. That was a good one. That was a good one. And then, there's a lot of those like dystopian type movies. There used to be a show on Sci-Fi Channel called Incorporated. I think they stopped it, but it was actually really good. It was about how corporations took over the world, and they had like this technology where they could like read, they could like know what you're thinking. And if you didn't think the right things, you can get in trouble, like go to jail and stuff, and like lose your job. Like what they would do is they would like hook your brain into a computer, and they would scan all your thoughts over the last 24 hours or something. And they would look for any kind of thoughts that you had that they didn't like, and they would punish you for those thoughts. And it's a good show. Too bad they stopped it. It's called Incorporated. Really good show. Another like dystopian type show on the Sci-Fi Channel. New York Adventurer, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have a great weekend as well. Yeah, check out some of those prepping and dystopian movies. Thought Police. Yep, exactly. That's what it is. Sierra Star, thanks for tuning in. Good to see you in here. I'm pretty sure you came from KLW World News, Lee Wilbarger's channel. So have a good night, guys. I'm going to shut it down. Thanks for all your support, and I'll be back tomorrow with more breaking news. So take care. God bless. And don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and